Hi everyone, hope you're doing really good. I want to talk about two seeds that Genesis 3:15 mentions. So we have God's woman and the seed of God's woman. We have the serpent's seed. We have that first prophecy, don't we? This is fascinating to me. I may have mentioned this before. God is particularly angry at Satan, isn't he? Because he's just witnessed Adam and Eve lose everlasting life and thrown out the Garden of Eden. So God makes this declaration and says to the serpent in no uncertain terms that his seed and the serpent's seed would be enemies, sworn enemies to that day. God calls it putting enmity between the two seeds. They would never be friends or anything like that. And they would have nothing but probably disdain. Certainly the serpent's seed hates the seed of God's woman. Whether that is reciprocated the other way around, whether God's woman hates the seed of the serpent, I don't know. But the other way around, I'd say that is a fact. Why? Because we have so much evidence where the seed of the serpent will do everything it can to stifle God's purpose. It's done this throughout history. It's found every opportunity it can to stop the light from shining. So there's two seeds. Does that mean there's two choices? If there's two seeds and you're either a supporter of God's woman's seed or the serpent's seed, does that mean there's only two choices? There's no sitting on the fence. You're either one or the other. So where does that leave me then? Let's make this really personal. Let's not have a go at anybody else. Let's just make this really personal. If I'm not supporting the seed of God's woman and the seed on today on earth of God's woman, if I'm not truly supporting that seed, then I must be supporting the serpent's seed. There is just no other way to look at this, because there's only two choices. Although I don't see myself as a supporter of the serpent's seed, indirectly, if I'm not supporting the true arrangement of God and speaking about his message, then I must be on that other side of the fence. The other side being the two choices. One, in support of the seed of God's woman, his heavenly organisation, or a supporter of the serpent's seed. The serpent's seed would incorporate all the demons. The whole world who gives their allegiance to the serpent and the demons, whoever they are. So have I got a choice to make then? Have I got to decide? Have I got to stop being a supporter of the serpent's seed and learn and find how I can support God's seed? Now we know that the ultimate seed, of which Genesis 3:15 talks about, receives the bruising. And we know that bruising was to the ankle when he died. 3 days later he was raised up. So that's why it's known as an ankle injury, non-fatality. But it talks about another bruising that will occur. But this time the bruising will occur on the serpent and the serpent's seed. This is going to be when Satan is abyssed. When he's abyssed, that scripture will have true fulfillment. He will have effectively, at that point, he'll have been bruised in the head, and that will be a fatality. That'll be an abyssing. Although we know he's going to be abyssed for that 1,000-year period, and then he's going to be let loose after the 1,000 years, then he obviously has to still be alive. So he's chained, or he's bound during the millennium period, not actually killed. He's let out at the end of that 1,000 years for the final temptations to occur. And then is he totally done away with? If that's the case, then that's when Genesis 3:15 will have its full fulfillment, and not at the end of Armageddon, because he has to be kept alive to be let out. So that gives a lot more thought on that scripture. I was thinking about it earlier on, and I thought to myself, yes, it makes perfect sense that he will be chained for that 1,000-year period. Then he's let out for a short period of time, and then he's bruised in the head and completely removed. But the question I'm now going to ask is, what happens to his seed class, the serpent's seed? Are they abyssed with him for that 1,000-year period, millennium period? And are they also let out at the same time as the serpent? Or has God got rid of those at that point and just kept Satan alive but chained for this one final act of being released as a true test again for the people that are still alive at the end of the 1,000-year period, so that they can be tested for that final time? I don't know. I bet someone out there knows though. Someone out there always knows.